Alright, so here's a Desert King fig that we planted last summer. Started off as just a basic single limb here and has really exploded in this large bush in less than a year. But what I'm running into down here in the greenhouse is something's come in and has damaged this tree. So you can see they're actually starting to gnaw on it here. A lot of the smaller limbs have all been cut off. This limb right here is actually broken. So I'm going to come through here and I'm going to build a small fence around it, but I'm also going to go ahead and cut all these damaged limbs off. But I don't want to just toss them, so I'm going to actually give my first attempt here at propagating trees and try to make my own fig trees once I trim these off. I do want to kind of keep this tree, it's going to be in our greenhouse, so I want it to be more of a tree than a bush. So I'm going to take all these little shooters off here and try to make half a dozen new fig trees from them. Hopefully they'll work. Just kind of looking here, it looks like we've already got a little bit of new fresh growth at the top. It is January here in Washington, so hopefully they'll be somewhat dormant. I've never done this before, but we're going to give it a shot. So I went to our local garden store, and this is what the lady there recommended. So I got a rooting powder, I got peat moss, and I got perlite. Now she says do about a 50-50 mix of these two, so I got a little bucket, I'll mix those in, and then I'll dip each root in the rooting powder, each base of it. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put each one of these in these plastic cups, give them good drainage, but then I'm going to line them up in rows in this little planter box, so that way I can keep good sunlight to them since they'll be down here in the greenhouse. So that's my list of supplies. Let's get this tree trimmed up and see what we can come up with. Okay, so I got all my cuttings down. So this is just off the fig. So what I'm going to do, just to see if it makes a difference or not, is half of these I'm going to score the bottoms of them, half of them I'm not. And then I'm going to dip each one of them in the root solution, and then I'll put each one of them in these planters, and I'll do one row with the ones that I damaged and one row with the ones that I didn't, just to see if there's any difference. Now this is a 50-50 mix of the perlite and the peat moss. Once I get these all in here, I'll get some water in them. And then it's supposed to get kind of cold for the next couple days, so I think I'm actually going to bring these in the house, and then I'll bring them out to the greenhouse during the day so they can be out in the sunshine. So, well, we'll see what happens. We'll get these all trimmed up and see what kind of results we get. Alright, just got all the figs all transplanted here. I moved them up into my shop just because it's supposed to get down below freezing. And since I just cut all these, I don't want to chance anything getting freezing too hard tonight. So put them under the heat lamp. Tomorrow I'm going to go get a grow lamp so I can keep that on them down while they're down in the greenhouse. These are split half and half. So this half is the ones that I actually cut and damaged the bottoms on. This half over here is the ones that all I did was cut right below the bottom node. I did put the root grower on it and then put those right in. So they each have equal shares of water. I actually used a measuring cup, so they have the same amount of water. But the only thing I did do is some of these I left a little bit of fresh growth. Some of them I actually trimmed the tips off. I did half of each one, again, just to kind of see which ones are going to give me the best results. If this fig tree keeps growing like it did this year, I'd like to be able to have a lot of other figs that I can give to friends and family and possibly even sell some. So we'll see what kind of results we get. I'll do something here in a couple of weeks. I'll put a grow lamp on them tomorrow, so that way when they're down in the greenhouse, if it is going to get a little cold, they'll at least have that warmth to keep the soil from freezing. And we'll have updates as we go.